We brought two fish to show you today. One is a male and the other one is a female. Male is a science word for boy and female is a science word for girl. Take a look carefully at these two fish and see if you can figure out which one is the male and which one is the female. Okay, so we've got a male fish and a female fish you're looking at. Now we're going to look at the key differences to tell the difference between male and female salmon at the spawner stage. When salmon are young and they first hatch out of the egg, even a salmon expert, even a fish biologist can't tell the difference. They look the same from the outside. It's not until they get to this stage of their life cycle, the spawner stage, where the males and females start to look really different. And here's the clues to look for. This fish is a female. I can tell that this fish is a female by looking for certain clues. I look at the shape of her body. If you look at this fish, she's really wide from side to side, especially along her belly. That's because this fish is a female full of eggs. If you look at this fish side to side, he's pretty skinny and his sides are straight up and down, not round and full because there's no eggs in there. This is a male. Another clue that I look for as a fish biologist to tell the difference between male and female salmon is I look at the shape of the face. If you look carefully at this fish, between the eye and the tip of the snout, it's kind of short. If I take the same distance and move over to the male fish and measure his eye to the tip of his snout, whoop, it's way longer. The male fish have a long snout, and it usually grows and curves down like this. This long snout is called a kype, and only the male salmon grow a kype. Next, we're going to take the testes out of the male. So I'm going to reach in gently and find the head end. Get a hold of that and lift it out. Notice it stretches the whole length of his body. The function of the testes, the job of the testes, is to make sperm or milt. We need one sperm cell or one milt cell to fertilize the egg so we can have a new salmon. They're smooth on one side, and then the groove on the other side shows where the blood vessel lays. These are the testes. Here are the eggs. A fish this size is carrying about 3,000 eggs. Can you imagine having 2,999 brothers and sisters? Oh, what a line for the bathroom in the morning. This is just one of the packages of eggs. The packages of eggs are called a skein. You can see that there's a thin layer of clear skin that's holding all the eggs together. Salmon do families very differently than people do. In a human family, usually just one baby is born at a time, but in a human family, there's a mom and a dad or grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers, and sisters to help take care of that human baby. In a salmon family, by the time these eggs hatch, the parents will be dead. No one to take care of the salmon. And so in a salmon family, not all these eggs are going to survive. In fact, out of all these 2 packages of eggs, we would expect that only 2 salmon will survive to adulthood. Take a look inside the body. Look at how much room there is now that we've taken the eggs out of the female. Salmon stop eating when they leave the ocean, so they make that whole freshwater migration through rivers without eating. They don't want to be distracted by taking time to hunt. They just want to go straight home. But the female fish, she wants to grow lots of big eggs because the bigger the eggs are, the bigger the hatch salmon will be and the better chance they'll have for survival.
So I see we have some fish eggs here. Do these fish eggs and these fish eggs, do they have eyes?
Good question. No. If you look really carefully at these fish eggs, They are clear. There's no black dots, no eyes to be seen inside of these eggs. These eggs we took out of the female fish. We took these out of the mother fish, and these eggs had not been fertilized yet, so there's no fish growing inside. To have a fish growing inside, you need the egg and the milk from the male to come together to grow a fish inside the egg. So these salmon eggs don't have eyes inside. It's kind of like a chicken egg. When you open up a chicken egg to cook a chicken egg, you don't see eyes inside that because those eggs aren't fertilized either. There's no chicken growing inside the chicken egg yet. If you have salmon eggs in your classroom aquarium, you can watch for the eyes. If you are raising salmon at school, you can see 2 black dots inside each salmon egg, and those are the eyeballs of the fish. Salmon eggshells are translucent. It means you can look right through them and see the fish growing inside. So you can watch those eyes. As the eyes get bigger, you'll get to see the iris of the eye, which is the colored part of the eye, like you have blue eyes and I have brown eyes. If you look at the iris, when you can first see the iris inside a salmon egg, it looks kind of silvery or white. But as that egg gets closer to hatching, the iris of the eye will turn a golden color, and that's a great clue that that salmon egg is close to hatching.
So the eggs, I always see fishermen on like the Columbia River always have things that look like the eggs. Why is that?
The best way to catch a fish is to think like a fish. And one of the questions that you have to ask yourself if you're trying to catch a fish, what do fish like to eat? Other fish love to eat salmon eggs. Salmon eggs have a lot of protein and fat inside, and they can't swim away, so they're easy to catch. Just like people like to eat chicken eggs, it's good protein, it tastes good, easy to cook. Salmon eggs are great protein and taste good to other fish predators.
So if we put the eggs in water right now, would they survive?
These eggs would not survive and become fish because the mother's body keeps the eggs alive, and when she died, the eggs also died.
So are these eggs like caviar, and can we eat them?
There are different kinds of caviar come from different kinds of fish. The really fancy, super expensive kind of caviar comes from a particular kind of sturgeon, which is a different kind of fish. But some people do eat salmon eggs, yes.